I think people would say John F. Kennedy because he's like the conventional attractive, but I'm actually a
Yes.
Taft fan. He's kind of cute for like
The
a.
one with the large bathtub, that's the guy who got a specially made bath. He was so fat.
Is that Taft? You know what? We are meant to be because I'd be laying right beside him. We'd get a double wide for sure.
God.
Just me and Taft bubble bathing it out.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm Blair.
And I'm Kirsten, and we are mediocre content.
Content.
Okay. We're starting off really strong.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's just one of those days, you know?
Yeah, totally.
But it's Sunday before a holiday, which is really great because I'm off tomorrow. So I am just trying to live it up as much as I can. You are not off tomorrow.
Must be nice.
Oh my gosh. That's
Some
okay.
of us have to work.
Chris also has to work. Like my brother Chris. He called me this morning and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Going to breakfast on a Sunday. Don't have to work tomorrow." And he's like, "That's nice."
Ugh. Yeah. Well, and my Chris doesn't have to do anything tomorrow either. Which
is he
honestly
off Tuesday too?
I don't think so.
Oh. Okay.
But he's off tomorrow, which I'm gonna have to talk to him about that because he's like, "Oh yeah, I have schoolwork I have to do today," and I'm like, "But you don't
go."
I'm just now realizing he doesn't have anything going on tomorrow, so now
no. Tyler's group, they usually get like, I guess it's like I don't know what they call it. 96? I don't know. It's like 4 days, which they count the weekends, so he doesn't have to go to Monday or Tuesday.
That's nice.
What kind of?
I mean, Chris doesn't have classes on Fridays, so he
that's nice.
has a 4-day weekend.
Yeah, that's great.
Must be nice.
I would love a 4-day. That'd be great. Like a true
great.
Like a true 4-day through Tuesday, and not just be like, "Oh, Friday night." I don't think it really counts.
Oh no, definitely not. Definitely not. If Friday night counted, then it would just be a 3-day weekend every weekend, which
it does not feel like. I would just like to say.
No.
By the time Sunday rolls around, I'm like, did we even have a weekend? I feel like I didn't actually rest.
Absolutely. I know. That's how I feel right now. I'm kind of just like,
yeah.
I'm like, scary. Well, I guess, another weekend has gone by.
Yeah. That's when you know it's time for a vacation, though.
I know.
Just jump on that. You'll feel better.
Next weekend is Chris's birthday. So we're doing we're doing some fun things. I'm not sure.
Did you actually plan everything?
I did. I planned everything.
Okay,
everything is done.
Okay.
I can't tell on the pod right now though, because he is in the building and it is a secret.
Of course. And if he listens to the pod, which I don't know if he still does or not, but
this will come out the day after his birthday. So I think we'll know, like, if I were to talk about it, he wouldn't hear it but like he's physically like in the next room. So
yeah, no, can't have that. Also, he's not allowed to listen to it before next week.
Right. Yeah.
No testing. Yeah. Well, this is going to be a good episode. This is going to take me back.
I am so excited.
Take me back, but I'm still in the present.
I'm so excited to talk about these things. Good. And just, we're going to do the disclaimer casually like we do every week. But, we're not experts on anything. Some of this information was sourced from Wikipedia, and it's not because I'm lazy. It is because there's not a whole lot. Like there's the Pinterest website, but there's not a whole lot like other than that about Pinterest like out there. Like no one has studied it. Nobody cares that much. So just take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
If you care that much about Pinterest, or if you're like a super Pinterest influencer or something like that, let me know if I'm wrong about some stuff.
I would gather to say if there was someone like that, there'd be way more information and you would have been able to find.
That's true. But yeah, we hope that you enjoy this episode as much as we will, because we are big Pinterest fans.
From the start, from the very beginning.
Would you like to jump into the good news?
I mean, sure. Let's do it. Okay, so the first piece of good news, actually, let me back up. The good news this week has to do with two of my favorite things, right? Cats and space. If we could combine those two things together always, I will try. The first piece has to do with this really sweet little baby kitty who has helped more than 100 foster kittens at his little home. His name is Elvis.
Do you know, when I looked at this paragraph, yes, I saw kittens, home, and Elvis, and I was like, are they turning Graceland into a kitten sanctuary? Because I would totally be down.
It was the plan all along.
That is not the case. All right, moving on.
Instead, Elvis was once a foster cat himself. So in 2013, Beverly Pack, who was a volunteer with Open Arms Animal Shelter in Kentucky, took Elvis in and his sister Priscilla and a bunch of other kittens that were kind of in the same litter group. But she learned that Elvis and Priscilla both had like mild to moderate cases of cerebellar hypoplasia, which is such a difficult thing to say, but it's basically called wobbly cat syndrome in layman's terms. So they just
fall over.
They're just falling over. They're just weeble wobbles. They do fall down though, unlike weeble wobbles. It's a developmental condition that affects their balance and motor skills, but Elvis fully embraces every foster kitten that comes in the house despite this abnormality, let's say.
So I feel like a friendship with a fainting goat is like
imminent.
Yeah.
That would be like the perfect combination. One can't walk and one just faints, you know? It's just It's a great combination.
BFFs for life.
Absolutely. But since 2013, they've had, hundreds of foster kittens that come through, and Elvis insists that they always let him groom them and bathe them and just kind of snuggle with them, get them acquainted to the new home and the new setting, and it's all very adorable and rewarding for everyone. But he was also recently named for a award. It's one of 5 winners of the Arm & Hammer's Feline Generous Happily Forever After contest. It's just such a long one. And I would like to say Arm & Hammer is just one of the name brands for like litter, whatever.
Arm & Hammer's Feline Generous Happily Forever
After contest. Forever spelled FUR.
Happily Forever After contest. Okay, I got it.
It's just a mouthful. Anyway, this is a really adorable cat. He helps a lot of baby cats and he won an award. There. Good news.
We love it. Good job.
And he's
Elvis.
A little bit wobbly,
Yeah. I really want to. Can I look up a video really quick?
Oh, yeah. So the trend, I don't know if it's specifically with Elvis or Priscilla, and I don't know if I've ever seen them on TikTok, but I do see other wobbly kitties on TikTok pretty regularly, and they all have this syndrome that's just it's cute but sad. I don't know how much damage it does for them other than just like falling on things, I guess. Gotta like cat proof the house in a different way. Are you did you find something?
I'm so ready. Hold on.
Oh, good.
It's too loud. Hold on.
If you don't know, listener, she just blasted her ears into space, which is where we're going for our next bit of good news.
Anyway. Yeah, they can't. Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, but they're like chasing the toy, but then like
correct.
They just have no control like over their limbs at all. Oh my god.
It's very endearing. Very cute.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So Elvis for the win. Priscilla for the win too. His sister's adorable. I don't really know how she contributes to the foster kittens other than just being one herself and her brother Elvis, but they're adorable.
Well, there has to be a Priscilla to the Elvis. So.
Absolutely. Okay. Now we're gonna go to space. Specifically regarding moon dust and its potential for the combat of climate change. I was skeptical when I read that heading. I'm not going to lie. I was very confused, but I'm always game for information. There is a group of scientists that propose a study published in the journal PLOS Climate. Don't ask me what it stands for. I couldn't tell you. But the research found that dust from the moon could potentially serve as a barrier between Earth and the sun, which would then reduce the amount of sunlight to about 1% to 2%, or equivalent of 6 days worth per year. As a result, planet's temperature could be brought down from the outside, which is an interesting concept, I guess, but it would obviously require a lot of new technology to be implemented. Could be helpful. It's just kind of an out there concept, really, but then again, out there is also in the galaxy, and that's acceptable for this kind of thought. If it could help the slow rise in Earth's temperature, obviously this is good for climate change. It would positively impact a lot of things going on here.
Yeah.
Obviously, on the inside, we're still doing a lot of conservation things to try and curb that ourselves. But if there is a possibility to kind of tackle it in and outside the atmosphere, I mean, hey, why not give it a go, especially if there's technologies available? But there's also logistical things to consider. The dust would have to be deposited, in specific proportions at exactly the right places and have to be replenished. So you're now having to consolidate moon dust somehow and get it where it needs to go.
22 billion pounds of dust would be needed each time to be effective.
Astronomical numbers for something that I don't really have a concept of.
I mean, it's like using the moon to just plug a hole.
Correct. So again, it might be interesting to, go that route. Again, it's an outside source. How practical it is, not 100% sure, but it is an interesting concept.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I
need to get Hank Green on this.
I know. Hank, please give your insight. But it is an astronomical amount of product that you would have to have. And that's just like each time. So
right, each time, and it has to be replenished every 2 days? It's every few days.
Every few days, which again, astronomical. And honestly, is this 22 billion pounds based on Earth's atmosphere? I'm assuming so. How do you get something, in a gravity situation that isn't exactly like Earth's? Like, you just have to do that calculation and conversion, like, oh, I'm on the moon, so technically 22 billion is X amount billion, and distributing that, you know what I mean? Because gravity is different. So it's 22.
Well, yeah. So I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
No, I think because when the astronauts brought back samples, they know how much based on the gravitational pull in Earth's atmosphere, they know how much it would be.
Right. But my question is kind of why would you bring it here just to take it back up? I guess is my thought process.
What if you just brought it? What if they brought construction equipment to the moon and then just brought it to the atmosphere and just left it there on entry? I feel like
giant cats with the big old scoops on the end,
right?
Just blasting off into space.
In the atmosphere, right on the edge where the space station is. They just dump it in the right spot, and then they come back down. I think that's reasonable.
Okay. I'm over here okay, well, can you feasibly bring that down? And even if you could, how would you get it back up? And why wouldn't you just take it direct off the moon and store it there and then disperse, It's
like that SpongeBob meme where he's like, we pick it up
and we put it over there. But I was also thinking of that dog on TikTok who's just okay, there's 5 trees in the backyard and there's 2 squirrels and 5 trees. And I peed on 10 trees. So that means 5 times 2 times the number of squirrels in each tree. I just think this is really aggressive math.
Luckily, we're not gonna have to do that math.
No, you're not. It's not waiting for me.
Leave that up to the computers and the professionals that work the computers.
I would hope they know what they're talking about. Anyway, we can move back down to earth if you want to start.
All right. Now, in the completely opposite direction of this, what is Pinterest? Well, I will tell you. I will tell you what Pinterest is if you don't know and live under a rock.
A moon rock?
Moon dust. 22 billion pounds.
Oh man.
All right. So Pinterest describes itself as a visual discovery engine. It is where you find what and do what you love. With Pinterest, you can discover useful and relevant things that inspire you to do stuff. Non-sponsored.
So general.
That is their like on their website. The mission.
Very cute. Okay.
Yeah. So basically it's like Google, but it comes up with a bunch of images. It's just Google Images, basically.
That you can save.
That you can save and curate into like a board. So with billions of pins on Pinterest, you can always find ideas to spark inspiration. When you discover pins you love, save them to your boards and keep your ideas organized and easy to find. You can also create pins to share your ideas with other people on Pinterest.
You know what? That's something I don't think I've done ever.
You never created a pin?
No, I don't think so.
I did a couple so that I could see, because I created a board for my wedding, obviously.
That's right.
And so I had to like see everything all together. So I like copied and pasted a picture of like the suits and my dress and like everything together.
Makes sense.
Just so I could see it. But I have created several boards, which I believe you have as well.
A few.
In order to create pins, to back up just for a second, from different images, you can copy different images on the web or from pictures that you take or videos that you take now. And you can add them to Pinterest. And let's see, now you can also add a short video, kind of like a TikTok.
Yeah.
You can add TikToks to Pinterest, and that's their way of like integrating short form content as well.
Question really quick. Having created pins yourself, I'm assuming there's like algorithmic kind of hashtags or like keywords you have to associate it with. Did you do that?
No, I literally just like, I didn't, because it was for me. It wasn't for like other people to look at. So I was kind of just like, I'm just going to skip all this part. And but yeah, you can put like hashtags and there's a description box and like that kind of stuff. And you can like link it to other things.
Okay.
So you know how like a lot of the food on Pinterest, it links to like a food blog,
right,
where they tell you your life story and then give you the recipe.
That's a whole other episode.
I know.
Yeah, I was just thinking like, how does it know to pull in, like, for example, when you're typing in like food or recipes, like how does it know from everybody's board? I'm assuming it's like the tags or something that it's like, oh, this is a recipe that I can show you.
Like the more you use Pinterest,
right, algorithm,
the algorithm will feed you things, and your searches are also curated based on that. So
interesting. Yeah.
Yes. And then to create boards, you basically type in, every time you save a pin on Pinterest, it says, do you want to add it to your board or do you want to create a new board? And then you can lump everything together. And you can create boards for specific events, aesthetics, crafts. The possibilities are endless, honestly. And you can use the site to search for specific images. Like, for example, if you don't know how to style your overalls, you can type in outfits to wear with your overalls.
This feels really personal.
Yeah, I've done this. You could see thousands of different kinds of outfits with overalls. And in addition to that, there's also a homepage that Pinterest curates for you. So like we were just talking about with the algorithm, based on your searches and like what you've pinned, Pinterest will suggest lots of fun things that you might like. And that's my favorite part. I like going through the homepage and like seeing all the things that Pinterest thinks that I want, and most of the time they're like pretty accurate.
Yeah. I also like, I know they say this about TikTok now, but it's just a different version. But this was also like the beginning of like doom scrolling for me, where you're just like, you're just so like zoned in and you just don't even realize the time.
I feel like doom scrolling has a negative connotation.
It does, but it's not doom necessarily bad.
Right. Doom scrolling to me is more of like you're in like an anxiety spiral.
Sure.
And I feel like with Pinterest, I'm never in an anxiety spiral. I'm like always in a, I just want to buy these things or like do this craft or like find fun things for me. And then I send you things. And
indeed,
it's a good time.
It's a good time. So like not doom scrolling. What's like a positive, like the opposite of that?
Mindless pinning. I don't know.
Mindless pinning. Happy scrolling.
There's a comedian who does this bit and and it's Eliza Schlesinger. I don't have I've showed you her, right?
I know.
And she does a whole thing about Pinterest and how like girls are like so into it and it's like a sport. Like men have Call of Duty and women have Pinterest. I love
that bit from her.
I love it. So what searches do you normally search on Pinterest? Actually, do you actively still use Pinterest? Are you still into it? I do too.
I do. Okay. But it's specific to my lifestyle nowadays. I did like a whole purge of my Pinterest like a couple of weeks ago, ironically.
Oh.
And I like got rid of a bunch of stuff. And so when you were asking me to do this homework, I was like, dang, I wish I kind of like had the stats from like pre and post purge.
Yeah.
But I don't. So it'll just be what it is.
Yeah. I still have all of my stuff from 2011.
That does not surprise me at all.
Because but like it's more up, like obviously the stuff I'm pinning now is more updated to like what I like.
Of course.
But if you scroll far enough,
you'll find stuff
pretty interesting. The other thing, I was gonna say something else. What do you commonly search? Do you is it outfits or foods or
it's honestly between nail art, because I go every 2 weeks. I always have to have something. And then the second thing is like recipes. Typically that's really about it, because I just, especially when I got the air fryer, I was like, okay, well, the air fryer comes with a little workbook, but I would love to know like what's some random basic stuff, that you can just do really quick. So that's honestly like the most. What about you?
I would say recipes are definitely in the top like 5 things, and then outfits.
Okay.
I really enjoy the fashion part of Pinterest. I think I like learning how to style different things and like how, different aesthetics and stuff like that. I also search, like sometimes I'll get like a hyperfixation hobby for a while, where I'll like, I was into knitting for a little bit. And so I like pinned a bunch of different patterns and stuff like that. Or like, I have a One Direction board.
Not surprising.
I mean, I thought you did too, but maybe you got rid of it.
I don't actually remember.
Oh my God.
I don't even know if I really had one. I think it wasn't about the band, if I remember correctly. And it was more about like, I think I named the board in my like teen years All the Beautiful People, and I would just like pull in multiple. So there was like Tom Felton in there and whatever. Anyway,
we're gonna have to talk about that later. And so I mean sometimes, and the other really popular one that I like is like I do home decor stuff too.
That's like a good one. Yeah. No, that's a good one.
So we'll get into a little bit of the history of Pinterest, and we'll go over some more like stats and stuff later.
Okay.
So history of Pinterest. Ben Silbermann, Paul Sciarra.
That's a weird name.
I know. And Evan Sharp.
Okay.
Those are the 3 men responsible for Pinterest.
Nice.
Which is truly shocking because predominantly the people that I know that use Pinterest are women, and there are no women in the creation of Pinterest, which is wild to me.
Can I make a comment about that?
Please do.
I don't think it's weird. I think it was done on purpose.
Probably.
Because now look, our attention is completely raptured. They're never bothered.
Capitalism.
I'm just saying. At first glance, it seems sus. I'm here to say they knew what they were doing.
That's probably true. but it's irritating either way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, you're completely right. How dare you? Yeah.
So Ben Silbermann and Paul, we're just gonna call him Paul because I don't want to pronounce his last name. Sorry, Paul. Worked together on an app called Tote before Pinterest. The goal of Tote was to be a replacement for paper catalogs. If you remember, if you were as old as we are, you remember getting catalogs in the mail, and even like the big catalogs that are like that were really thick from like Sears or whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah. So
Dillard's.
Dillard's. I used to get the American Girl catalogs in the mail.
Oh my goodness.
I did not get those. So anyway, so Tote was going to be a replacement for those. And however, like technology had not made it far enough for it to be easy for automatic payments and online purchasing to make this app super successful, right? So like mobile payments, and it wasn't like they had Amazon. Amazon was still a bookstore back then. It wasn't anything super fancy, and the security of online credit cards and like things like that didn't exist at the time. So they decided, when they excuse me, I'm sorry, let me get my thought together. So when they launched Tote just to see like how it would do, like a prototype, and what they noticed was there was a lot of women putting different like pictures together and like creating groups of things and like sending them to their friends and being like, oh, this is cute, we should buy this, or like, oh, have you seen this, blah blah blah. And then they were like, oh, well, we don't need a purchasing function on this app at all, we can just make pictures and they will do it. So Pinterest was then born.
Perfect. Beautiful.
So in 2009, they began creating Pinterest. The prototype launched in 2010, and 9 months later, they had 10,000 users.
Holy cow.
Yeah. In 2011, the iPhone and iPad app was launched, and the site only had, up until then, the site had only operated out of a small apartment with these like 3 guys. And until the summer, in 2000, and then sorry, I keep messing up and I'm really sorry, guys.
Don't apologize.
I'm like working on it. So 2011 was a big year for Pinterest. They were voted the best new startup of 2011, and they were seeing up to 11 million hits per week. Dang. Which was crazy.
That is crazy.
So in 2012, there was 11.7 million users, and Pinterest was the fastest site to ever hit the 10 million unique visitor mark. And unique visitor means like there were 10 million people from different servers visiting the site consistently. And Pinterest altered their policy in 2012. So you did not have to request an invitation. And if those of you remember, I remember Pinterest having like, you had to be invited, or you had to like sign up and wait to get your account.
Oh, I did not know that. I must have joined after that point then.
Yeah, it was. So in 2012, they got rid of that because the site was doing well enough. And at the 2012 Webby Awards, Pinterest won Best Social Media App and People's Choice Award for the Best Functioning Visual Design.
That's crazy. I almost wonder, like, does it tell you when you created your account? Like,
I don't know. I was like really trying to find all the data, because I remember it used to tell you like how many pins you have.
Oh, it does.
And it does still.
Yeah.
It didn't. So I couldn't find it.
So now when you go to your profile where you could like see all your pins, the first box for me on the top left says all pins with a number underneath it, which is how I got my number today.
Let me see.
Yeah. But I wish it also indicated
it does say that on the app. I was looking online.
Oh, okay.
Because on the website it doesn't say it, but on on the app it says it. Okay, cool. So now I can tell you guys how many pins I have. I'm so excited.
Riveted. I love it. But yeah, I kind of wish it would show like when you join, you know?
I
But I don't
agree.
see anything on here, but that's okay. I don't remember. I could always just, I mean, it's probably in high school, but the thing is I graduated high school in like 2012, just showing my age. But I don't remember having to be invited to Pinterest, which is interesting.
Yeah, which is why I think I joined in 2011, because I remember like my
Mm.
friends being like, "Oh, well, have you signed up for Pinterest yet?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? What is Pinterest?" And they're like, "You have to like sign up for it. It's very exclusive."
Exclusive.
Yeah, and we're all like,
Ah.
12 in our little like stupid with our like Vera Bradley purses and shit.
Sure. Right.
Anyway, cringe. Anyway, so 2012 was a big year. And then skipping ahead to 2017, the like feature was removed. So you used to be able to like pins, and then it was put into like a special board for only your liked pins, as opposed to ones that you pin to a different board, if that makes sense.
Weird to me,
I
because if
agree.
you're pinning them, you
Right. And
you
so
like
now that the liked pins, now that the like function is removed, there is still the board that's like your liked pins, but you can't add to it anymore.
Noise.
And then in 2019, Pinterest became a public company at $19 per share, which is weird to me because it was in its peak in 2012.
That's
and then
exactly what I was
they finally like got onto the stock market. That's wild to me.
That is wild. That is literally what I was just about to say, because what's that, like 7 years?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. No.
I think so too. I think there was some new management shifting around. I think
Maybe.
that's probably what it was.
That took a long time.
And also I think 2012 was like peak Pinterest, right?
Right.
So it's only kind of been downhill from there. There's really like you can only revolutionize this product that much more.
They have tried,
but
though.
Speaking of that, in 2020, Pinterest leaned into the shopping experience. So now they've got everybody hooked with all of the like pinning images. There's no like purchasing function on the app or the website at this point. And then in 2020, they were like, let's add a shopping tab. And so now you can type in like there's a shopping section every time you search something. You can also go to shop and it'll show you similar items that you can purchase that are like what you searched for. It's actually kind of cool. I've never bought anything from there.
Me neither.
But I think it's a fun, like, it's good to see what's out there, right?
Right. And also, I know this was like the original idea. Maybe these ideas usually take like sometimes years to fully like integrate into something this big, but it was so weirdly perfectly timed with COVID during a time where we weren't out and about shopping.
Right.
And then suddenly this pops up as an option on Pinterest now. It's just interesting timing.
Well, online shopping is in its heyday, let me tell you.
Absolutely.
And like honestly, I hate going to the store. I
Instacart.
I like going to the grocery store sometimes, but I do like going to Target and like going to multiple places just to find like one thing makes me want to vomit. Like I just don't want to do it.
Oh, how the times have changed.
I know. Gone are the days are like marathon shopping days.
Oh my gosh, I still love those though. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. Yeah. I haven't been on one in a really long time because Chris can't go like 4 hours without eating.
We've had this discussion. It is quite liberating though, honestly, because I'm also one of those people with like a weird body shape, and I just feel like I need to try things on.
Right. And it's nice to have that like instant gratification and like know exactly what fits and what doesn't fit.
Yeah. Anywho.
Okay. In 2021, PayPal said they wanted to buy Pinterest, and Pinterest said, nah, fam.
No, it's mine.
And then 2022 and 2023, Pinterest created an app called Pinterest TV Live with live streaming capabilities. I mean, I've never tried it. I
didn't know that was a thing. Actually.
It's a thing apparently. And the overall the user experience of the site and apps are all same as they have been.
Okay, nice.
Currently, Pinterest has 400 million plus users.
Holy cow.
And 240 billion pins have been saved.
Whew,
we'll find out what percentage of that of me and Kirsten in a few minutes. And then
do the math.
85% of people use the mobile app, which makes sense. And 50% of pinners live outside the United States.
Interesting.
I thought so.
I think that it makes sense that it's more useful on mobile. Now, I have used it on my computer before, but it's just so much easier to use on a phone.
That was my primary way of using Pinterest when I first started, because I had a laptop in my room for the first time.
Oh,
it was so great. And then and it was also when we had the family, because I had a family computer up until when I went to college, and then we finally got I finally got a laptop for college, right?
Right, exactly.
And so it was safe to use on the family computer, right?
Right.
You know, Pinterest was a fun thing I could do on the family computer.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like Facebook.
Yeah.
We should do one about Facebook. We should just go through all the socials at some point.
I have a lot of feelings about Facebook. Let me tell you. We'll do a social media series, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe that's what we'll title this social media series, part 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Not us actively brainstorming in the middle of a podcast.
Hashtag professional. You're hearing the brains work live. That's great.
Yeah. You know? Insider experience we're providing you
for free.
Go to our Patreon and donate $1.
If we even have one. Gosh.
We don't have one.
We don't. Spoiler alert. For free.
All right. Well, I think they've heard enough of us talking for the next few minutes. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think it's time for a break.
All right, let's break, and then we'll see you guys on the other side.
Congratulations. You've made it to the ad segment of the podcast.
Don't worry, the podcast is now, thankfully, halfway over, and we think you'll have what it takes to push through to the end. You got this.
We completely understand if you have to bow out for now, but if you do, make sure to come back at some point to try and finish what you started. Or not. That's also fine.
If you got what it takes to continue,
we know you do.
Keep listening so you can get this over with. And be sure to tune in to future
mediocre content.
Welcome to the second half of your Pinterest podcast.
So
Pinterest podcast.
Pinterest, a little alliteration.
We're going to go through our Pinterest boards.
Yes.
And Kirsten and I have some hardcore data for you.
Hardcore. Well, now we do. Now that you know where to find it.
So, okay. We already kind of went over. We both still use Pinterest pretty regularly. So now the question is, how many pins do you have, Kirsten?
So, as I mentioned, this is post overhaul.
And let's just keep in mind that it has been 12 years approximately.
Yeah.
Since we have both started Pinterest.
Correct. And back then I was probably a teen or coming out of teen-ish years. So, it varied a lot.
Yes.
However, currently, after the overhaul, I have just over 1,000 pens. I have 1,016 pens. That's it. I know. I saw what you put in here, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's astronomically different. But go ahead. Tell us your number.
I feel bad. Oh God. Okay. I have 20,822.
What part of percentage are you?
Oh my
God. Blair takes over 20% of that 85. But to be fair, obviously times have changed, and instead of doing an overhaul, which is so silly, by the way, who takes the time to do that? I have nothing better to do at that point but overhaul my Pinterest
Don't put
board.
yourself down like that. You're organized. You're not an insane person like me.
Who just saves everything forever relentlessly.
I have digital clutter, okay, but it's in the form of Pinterest.
It's like my Pinterest hoarding.
My inbox, like my Gmail is very clean, but my Pinterest is just a hoarder's nightmare.
She's a mess. Okay, well, that's great. Good for you. Oh my god. Okay, well, across how many boards though?
Okay. All right. So
I'm gonna get this one too.
Probably. Okay. Jesus. All right. So I have 55 boards.
Oh.
And some of them only have like 4 or 5 pins because it was like a hyperfixation moment, and then I was like, I don't care about this enough.
Okay. I have 8.
I win Pinterest.
I don't know what prize you won, but you have definitely
between the two of us, I win Pinterest. Okay?
Oh man, that is so true at this stage. But again, I know I had more. I would say, like, I don't know exactly how many pens I would have had necessarily, but in terms of boards, I definitely had maybe closer to 12 or 15 prior to the overhaul.
Okay.
To be fair, like, it's nowhere close to 55, but it's definitely not like it's not like I started with 8 and ended with 8. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Anyway,
that makes sense.
What a beautiful thing. Exposure.
So I know. I feel very exposed in this moment. So what are your top 3, like, so of your boards, which ones do you have the most pens?
Okay, so the most pens for me, like I mentioned in the first half, like, I go to get my nails done every 2 weeks, and I typically have like tons of different things saved, and like the home page is just flowing with all of them now because it's just my algorithm. So that one is my top one. It has 487 pens in it. So that's definitely like the most.
Nice.
But then my second one is food, which has 310 pens. And my third is like a hair related one, which is 224 pens. So those are like my highest.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you?
So the board that I have with the highest amount of pins is called my imaginary closet.
Oh, cute.
And it has like everything, like every outfit I've ever seen on Pinterest that I like. And since 2011. So
long time.
Don't judge me.
You got chevrons in there with like neon.
Oh, it's bad at the bottom there. Oh my God. So that has a total of 5,750 pins.
Just wheezed.
Thank God it's an imaginary closet, not a real closet, because then I would have a problem. I would be an episode of Hoarders all by myself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then my second one is my hair and beauty board, which is 2,102 pins.
You have those combined?
Yeah.
Hair and makeup?
Yeah, which I should have just separated them.
Yeah.
But it was too far gone by
That's
like
fair.
I can't sit through 2,000 pins and just like separate them.
No.
So it's all makeup, nails, and hair.
Okay. Yeah, I was very granular with mine. Anyway. Yeah.
And then my future house plans, my home decor board is 1,629.
I'm surprised that doesn't have more, actually.
I know. Well, and then I also have one that's like future apartments. Because I don't add to that one as much anymore because we're living in more of like a home. But when I was younger, I lived in mostly apartments.
Right.
So so combined, I think it would be more. Because I think that one, actually, I can tell you right now.
And you know, I feel like also if you had your beauty one kind of spread out, it would be a little bit different too. You might have like more in hair or more in makeup, you know.
But I would have like 60 boards. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, what's 5 more at this point?
I know. You're right. You're right. And I've also created boards for like trips and stuff. Like we were going to go to Thailand at one point. I really wanted to go to Thailand for like our honeymoon, but obviously it was like too hard to plan. But I still have the board with like all the different cool things that I want to do when we go eventually.
So cute. I have like a barn dominium one that we share with a couple of people. Because that is definitely going to be our future home. Like we're just going to build a barn dominium.
I think that's a great idea.
So
yeah. We were thinking about retiring in Montana and then we were going to like have our house, obviously, but then we were going to make a hobby barn. And like half of it will be Chris's and half of it will be mine. And he'll have like all of his, like whatever he wants. And then I'll have like a ceramics wheel and like a bunch of clay all over the place. And
so you can play out that scene in the movie, you know.
Wait, what? Which
the
one?
Scene in the movie where they're building the clay pot together? It's like,
I don't know.
It the ghost
what
guy?
What movie is that?
I don't remember. It's I forget what the title is, but it's like they're on the pottery wheel together, and it's like supposed to be like, ooh, you know.
Comment below if you know what she's talking about, because I don't.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Do it.
Oh my gosh, movie scene. It's like I think it's literally called Ghost.
Probably.
And they play like the Hold Me Closer song or whatever it is. No. I think it's Ghost. Yeah, the pottery wheel romance is Ghost.
Great. That sounds great.
Or maybe it's Unchained Melody is the song. I don't know. I know what I'm talking about.
So just to follow up on something we talked about 5 minutes ago, my apartment board has 270 pins.
Okay.
So it would it would be like 1800 ish if I combined all those together.
See, I think that makes sense to have them separate though, because like you can't decorate your house the same way you can necessarily decorate an apartment. There's like restrictions, not just in size, but like obviously you can't just repaint the walls in most cases. So.
Well, and then, you know, there's also with a house normally comes a yards, there's like landscaping and all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So let's see. But yeah, I have 2 wedding. I'm going to just expose myself some more because why not? I have 2 wedding boards because the first one was the one that I created when I was young and had no like male prospects at all. And I just wanted to like save all of these things for future me because I thought that would be helpful, which I mean, it was sort of helpful. And that one has way too many pins for me to want to say on here.
That's fine.
And then my second wedding board is for the my actual wedding,
which was lovely. I was on that board.
Yes, you were.
It was great.
Yes, you were. And then I have multiple food boards. So I have like edible food, like I called it edible stuff. I don't know why, because silly. And then I have like a healthy recipes one, and then I have a vegan recipes one.
That's really granular. It's so interesting that you made that granular, but
and then I'm just like health and
just rogue health and beauty.
It's all the same.
Gosh,
it's all the same stuff.
Just ooh, that would
priorities, Kirsten. I like food.
Clearly, you're like, meh, hair can go with this makeup. I love that. I mean, I don't really have that many. I don't have a wedding board anymore because I'm married.
Shocking.
Yeah. Whoa.
We didn't know that. Oh my God.
Did not. Weird. Exposed.
Not like I was there.
I was there. But I also have like, okay, actually I have a question. So obviously if you're friends or something, you can kind of see what they've pinned. However, I have 2 secret boards. How many secret boards do you have strictly for yourself? I have 2.
All right. Let's see here. So, I mean, the wedding boards are secret except for you and Caroline.
Right.
And then let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
You have a lot.
5, 6.
Interesting.
7. I'm not like hiding anything. It's all just like
right.
It's silly things that I didn't. So my mom follows me on Pinterest too.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
I was like, I don't really like. It's not secret stuff. It's just stuff that like
for yourself.
Yeah.
So I also have family since I started the account, obviously, that follow me or whatever. And so I was like, well, I like at one point I have one called henna/tattoos.
Sure.
And of course
you didn't want any judgment for that.
I did not. So I originally had that one privated, but it's now just open because I'm old enough that I'm just like, that's kind of silly to have. Like,
yeah.
It doesn't matter anymore.
One of mine is like an aesthetic board, but I called it F it vibes. So I'm not going to say the actual word, but it's just like really like, it's like combat boots and like black and just like the aesthetic that I wanted for the board. Right. It's not necessarily how I'm going to start dressing or anything, but it was just a vibe that I wanted to like create.
I have one of those as well. Not as dark, but I do have one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't want anyone to think that I'm a crazy person. Another one that I have that's a secret board is I made one for like my bachelorette party because I thought it would be fun. It didn't end up happening this way, which is fine. It worked out the way it was supposed to work out. But it's like I wanted to do like a witchy like Halloween vibe for my bachelorette party.
Yes.
I thought that would be cool. If anyone out there wants to take that idea, you're more than welcome to.
That's a good one. What's your favorite board that you have?
My favorite board that I have, I mean, my imaginary closet obviously is the one that I pin to the most and probably my favorite.
Okay.
However, I do really like my travel board. It's called Oh, the Places You'll Go.
That's cute.
Yeah, I like that one a lot too, because it's fun to just like look through and be like, oh yeah, I remember like thinking I wanted to do that, or and then sometimes you can make it happen because you're older now in your life, and it's so it's kind of cool.
I would agree. Mine is not as adventurous or whimsical. It's literally called Future Gamer Setup, and it doesn't even have that many pins. It's just from a time where I was just so wanting to have like that super aesthetic, really pretty lights everywhere kind of office setup, and I still have that dream, but it's like so expensive to do that, and it's really kind of something you have to do over time. And also since we move so much, it kind of doesn't make sense to spend a lot of money on it right now.
Right.
So it's definitely something that I want to do, but it's just kind of like, I would love for this style of my office to look like this. So
yeah, totally. I think I think it's always good to have like dreams, even if they're smaller than like
Pinterest dreams.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what Pinterest is for ultimately, is just to like figure out what you want to do in life and then make it a goal, or like or not, just have it so you can look at it and it brings you joy,
Exactly. That's fun. Anything
do you think
else?
Well, do you think your Pinterest style has changed over time?
Oh, freaking yeah. Absolutely. I teenage me could never. When I was doing the overhaul, I can tell you for certain that I was like, I would never choose this today. I would never wear that. Or
I know.
Yeah. Like it just, but you do change because you're a human and you go through different phases of life. So yeah, it happens.
I agree. I'm definitely more like when I started Pinterest, it was definitely very like 2012, like chevron and
giant statement necklaces.
My wedding board alone is like totally different from what it like my wedding would have been gross if it had been in 2012.
Pinterest influenced. Yeah, no, I think it's meant to change because you change and like your preferences sometimes change too. So that makes sense.
Totally. Yeah. What is your board with the least amount of stuff in it?
Actually, it's that aesthetic one. I just recently started that one. It has like 8 pens. It's like brand new, baby face, which means I have a lot of work to do, and my algorithm's still catching up.
This is very funny. So I have one board with 4 pins in it, and it's entitled Monterey because when I found out that we were moving here, I like went and found like a bunch of things to do.
Oh my god!
So there's like a bunch of lists on there of like things to do in Monterey.
That is cute.
So I could probably get rid of that one. But.
Yeah, then you'd be 54.
I know.
What a transition. Oh my god. Still can't get over that. My head is reeling.
20,000 pins over here.
That is some work.
Do you have like followers and stuff on Pinterest?
Yeah, but do they actually follow me? I don't know. I have like 46 followers and apparently I'm following 15 people, but I could not tell you like some of these people I don't even know.
I don't know. I have 183 followers and 130 people I'm following. I don't know who they are though, because I don't probably friends from like millions of years ago. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
But by far, I am the most popular on Pinterest of all my social media.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know how to like, I don't know. I don't know. It's mostly, actually, I take that back. I know who these people are, but I don't necessarily think that, I was looking on here, doing your research for these questions, and I was trying to find, like, you know how it used to tell you, like, oh, your friend whoever penned this, or like recent pens from your, I don't see that anymore, like as an option to look through.
Let me see. So it's on the website. If you log on to the website, there's like a little notification, or I think if you go to the messages tab, it'll tell you that too.
Oh, well, that's kind of a weird way to do that, but that's cool.
Yeah. Not as fun.
No, I agree. But yeah, Pinterest. It's still fun.
Still fun after 10 plus years.
I don't think I'll be getting off of it anytime soon, to be honest.
Definitely not. No. Pinterest is great. But I think that about wraps it up. What do you think?
I think so. I would love to know if there is any listener out there that can beat your high score. Okay. So just to reiterate, we have over 22,000 pens, 55 boards. That is the standard. Let us know if you have more.
If you can beat us at Pinterest, let us know.
It's no us. It's just you.
Well, you come together. We have 22,000, but I alone have 20,000. So
I cannot take credit for work that I did not do.
So if you can beat my high score, let
Blair,
me know.
Definitely.
I'm
Blair.
Currently the Pinterest champion of the two of us.
I would agree. You can send that information to us through our email, which is mediocrecontentpodcast@gmail.com. You could tweet it if you want at Mediocre Squawks, or follow us on Instagram at Mediocre Content Podcast. But other than that, that's all I have as well.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week, you guys, and have a lovely, I mean, you'll hear this after President's Day, but have a lovely President's Day tomorrow. And hopefully you don't have to work like I do.
Hopefully it was good.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.